Hello. Oh, now I remember what I forgot to do. I forgot to look up conversation topics. Ah, shit. Okay. Huh. That's working surprisingly well. I am supposedly streaming at higher quality. You ever draw something and then you look at it, and then you realize you actually don't like how it looks? Anyway. Yeah, I watched a YouTube video about black holes from Kurzgesagt because they have very good YouTube videos, and I really like space and also black holes. If I were to die, I think my my ideal death would be jump into supermassive black hole, because I think it would be a fun time. I mean, I would die, but I think it would be a fun time. I would be the very first person to ever jump in a black hole. I've lost the mesh tool. Where did the mesh transform tool go? Here it is. I simply think, I don't know. I think it would be cool to, well, to be guaranteed my own Wikipedia page as that idiot who jumped into a supermassive black hole. But also, I would be famous post-mortem, and I would have a very, just the coolest death imaginable. Like, what tops jumping into black hole? And also I'd become part of the singularity forever. So, would outlast everyone. Would also be dead. But, I mean, technically, I guess, depending on how long I spend inside the black hole before a crushing death, I could outlive everyone, because, time is different when there's so much gravity. Photoshop, it has made an enemy of me by crashing a lot, but one thing I do miss is the liquefy tool. I can sort of mimic it with the mesh transform, but it's just not the same. I kind of wish I had the liquefy tool. I think this looks better. Yeah, I think this looks better. So I watched the video about black holes. That's what inspired that. My favorite space object is one of those. For someone who really likes space, I don't actually know that much about space, but it's I think they're either called pulsars or quasars or blazars, or those are all the same thing. But it looks like a disc, but it's got light shooting out both ends. I just think they look neat. I used to have a friend who he had he had games on his PC that he would bring to school, and those games included Kerbal Space Program and Universe Sandbox. And we were in PE, so we were supposed to be doing PE stuff, but instead I would just play like Kerbal Space Program on his computer. I caused a lot of explosions because I was more interested in seeing exactly how many parts I could tack onto a spaceship before it exploded, which, they did all explode. So that was pretty fun. But also, in Universe Sandbox, I just sort of opened up this simulation of two quasars spinning around each other, and I watched that for like a really long time. I just think they're cool. They're very, very pretty. I think drifting out into the vast emptiness of space would also be a cool way to die. I mean, you would very much die. You would go pop, and you wouldn't have a lot of time to enjoy to enjoy space. But again, who can say they had the opportunity to see space up close and personal? Since the universe is constantly expanding, there's actually a whole lot of nothingness. There's a whole lot of nothingness between like us and the other galaxy clusters that aren't ours, and just in between the stars in general. So supposedly, if the once the universe has expanded far enough, if you were to I don't know, get as far away from our galaxy cluster as you could, you would be able to look around and see literally nothing, just vast emptiness. And I think that would be cool. A lot of people, like, they're scared of, existentialism, I guess. How big everything is. But, like, I always sort of found that stuff comforting. Like, no matter how badly, like, I screw up in my life, it'll never matter all that much in the grand scheme of things, because, like, there are parts of the universe that we have never touched and will never be able to touch. So, it's not the end of the world, literally. So, I just always thought that kind of stuff was cool. And I really got existential horror because, like, I just thought it was cool. What did I do today? I kept having to remind myself it was Tuesday today because I couldn't remember just anything I did on Monday. I mean, if I tried hard enough, I guess I could say that I went to class, but like I just poof, memory gone. But I mean, sort of Monday. Ah, yes, the Mondays. Trying to think of anything I was doing earlier today that's interesting enough to mention. Is there anything else I know, like, at least a little bit about? You know, the engineering teacher, she asked us if we had any prior experience with circuits, so I answered completely honestly, and she replied, "Oh, good, you'll be one of my more advanced students." And I was like, wait, I know I answered that yes, I do have experience in circuits, and that was the truth, but don't you see, I don't actually know anything. I'm not actually advanced. Please. Which is kind of weird because it's not like I lied. Like, I literally told the truth of, you know, what I've done with circuits in the past. And I was still like, wait, no, you don't understand. I suppose that's what they call them. Yeah. Played some more in my Minecraft single player world. Well, I didn't do that today. I did do that on Saturday. I started writing a thing. I sort of just started by impulse on Sunday because I felt like it. And I've just been sort of putting more stuff in it by impulse, and now it's 12,000 words long. So I don't know how I managed that. I will not post it because the mortifying ordeal of being known, but I will send it to Val for review. And also because she'll probably like it. I don't know. I have a Google document where I keep most of the little stories I've written. It's like 120-ish pages long, I think. Or it's, I don't know, in that area, which I'm kind of proud of. Like, that's almost novel length, I think. Right. I wrote enough about my weird OCs. Should I talk about what I'm drawing? It says I have one viewer on my thing, but I don't know if that's me viewing my own stream or if it's somebody else. Okay, well, to explain this character, I'd have to I'm just going to assume you know who this character is, because I don't want to bother. But anyway, so I was trying to think of, like, I looked up, like, superhero comic book cover, as a sort of reference image, and then I kind of ignored those reference images, because my phone kept turning off and on because I dropped it in water recently. But you know, it after careful procedures, such as taking it apart and drying it out, it lived, and now it works. Which I had faith in it. This phone, it survived a lot, and I don't want a new phone because I don't like the new ones. But this phone has been with me through thick and thin. Yeah. And also a lot of the times, like, you can sort of just, like, repair the phone. Like, you don't need to buy a new one. Like, one time it kept dying on me, and just, like, it would be at, like, 100% battery, but if it wasn't connected to charge, it would just go out, which was pretty annoying. I asked my mom to fix it, and she just bought a new battery and replaced the battery. And I didn't have to get a new phone. So, yeah. It's the first ever phone of my own, and I'm very emotionally attached to it. I have my grievances with it, like how I'd never seem to have enough storage space for anything because the caches are very large. I don't know how to fix that, but you know, I'm emotionally attached to it. It's got cool stickers. It's very cool stickers. My mom got a cat bed for our cat, and it's sort of like box shaped because he likes sleeping in boxes, but he just straight up didn't care about the cat bed. He just slept in the boxes next to it. My mom was like, why? Why do you never sleep in the cat beds I buy for you? But I guess then today, he actually went and he chilled in the cat bed for a bit, which was surprising. I thought for sure he'd just ignore it forever, because he really does just like box over cat bed, because, you know, he's a cat. He hates the expensive cat bed, he loves the box it came in. But, you know, he was vibing inside of the cat bed, so I guess he's finally warmed up to it. Yeah. You know, every time I'd start a new drawing that involves drawing a face, I immediately forget everything I know about faces, all of my prior knowledge out the window. And I'm just like, what? How do you draw a face again? What am I doing? There's never been an exception to this rule. It happens every time. Even though I mostly draw faces from the same angle, which is 3/4, just like this one, because I'm not creative, and it allows the pose to be dynamic while also being. I do a lot of 3/4 views. I'm also not very good at facial variation. I've been trying to variate the facial features in the faces I draw, and I have no idea if I'm succeeding or not, because, I mean, Oatmeal will tell you I'm face blind, and I kind of am. If there are characters in the TV show, they have to either be color-coded or have different, they need to be color-coded for my puny brain. Yeah. It's so much easier. That's why it's so much easier for me to tell apart cartoon characters, because they all have their special little color scheme going on. So I don't have to know their faces. I just know, oh, that's the red one, that's the blue one, that's the green one. You know. I also just have no idea what I'm doing in general. Sometimes I start a new drawing and I think, I'm going to do something new with this, and then it's just shooting in the dark. And then sometimes I start drawing and I think, no, I've had a busy week, I'm staying inside my comfort zone. And those usually go well, mostly because, again, staying inside the comfort zone. Technically my comfort zone is line art, because if I try to paint a face and I try to make it too realistic, there's a chance it will go very poorly. But, you know, my sort of art style, I guess, has evolved over the years. At least the way I want my art to look. And I want it to go in a more painterly direction. Like, I look at a lot of drawings. I don't want it to be completely photorealistic. I want to be able to see the brush strokes. So I guess sort of, but, well, I sound pretentious if I say early impressionist. Someday I'll figure the background music thing out. But, for now, sorry, you listen to my beautiful dulcet tones. I don't actually know what dulcet means, I just read it in a book somewhere. Oh yeah, I've been reading a book. It's called Rhythm of War. It's the 4th book in the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson. I started reading it in February, so it's been 3 months, and I'm still only a third of the way through because I've fallen off on my reading. One day, in the middle of the book actually, I woke up in middle school and I didn't forget how to read. I could still read the words, but they didn't make sense in my brain. I would read a sentence and then I have to wait and maybe reread the sentence or reread it again for the words to sort of cram themselves into my brain. Yeah, Valley will be joining soon. Yeah, so I just get stuck on a sentence over and over. I wouldn't be able to move on. And it was a very sudden change. I noticed because I was in the middle of a book and I opened it one day and I was like, why is this so much more difficult than it was yesterday? So, I don't know, I have no idea. I taught myself how to, get past one sentence, but I'm still a lot slower than I used to be. What a loss. I still tend to read sentences twice. Can't really help myself. Because if I convince myself that I'm something I've missed or something, and I'll end up reading the sentences 5 times just so they'll stick. So that was kind of weird. Sort of like how when I'm watching a YouTube video and I rewind back to the beginning, I have to hit the back button. I have to hit the left arrow button 5 times, even though I know it's at 0 because I can see it at 0. Because I'm like, but what if it's actually not at 0 and there's a few milliseconds that I'm missing, which is weird because even if I was missing a few milliseconds, it's not like I'd be missing anything, but still must not miss anything. Hello, mod.
I just got to hear.
Hello.
I'm echoing on your side.
Hello. You say
I
you?
was just kind of here, and you were in the middle of something, so I waited, and it was like a minute past, and I was like,
You said there was an echo?
I think you fixed it, whatever you did.
I
There
just
was an echo for 5 seconds, and then it just decided to disappear.
I poked my earbud, so
Let's go.
yeah. Am I streaming at a higher quality this time? Because
Let me watch for a few seconds. It is actually streaming at 180.
Nice. I was worried this would lag my tablet to no end, but it's actually functioning perfectly fine. I guess streams from now on will be on 1080p. I am a genius.
Yeah, it's because the CPU used to do that. It doesn't take as much as other functions. So bitrate and how many frames per second it's loading is the one that takes the most CPU.
Yeah. I was mostly worried about
It
that.
also helps that you're using 2 devices, kind of thing. You're using your tablet, so it's like classifying it. It's sharing your CPU.
Okay. Is it still doing the flashing?
Oh, yes.
Well, I improved the quality for the YouTube people. I still don't know how to fix the black
I
screen.
have an idea what the flashing is. Also, your screen just turned entirely black, but a single pixel spare.
Yeah.
It's back now.
Okay.
I have an idea what the flashing is. You want to know my idea?
What's your idea?
Wait a second. Why did the flashing disappear after that weird black screen?
Maybe it permanently fixed itself.
I swear. No, I thought it was the frame rate it was getting streamed at wasn't enough for the thing to like connect, so it was just kind of delete. It was like not. It was not loading frames, so it was just giving you blackness.
I have it at 20 frames per second.
Yeah, that would probably do it.
How do I fix?
Well, I think you would have to turn it back down to 760, and then you would have to up the frames to at least 48.
Pain. Ah.
That's what I have it on. I have it on 48.
Okay. Well, I'd rather have a slightly lower quality than terrible flashing, so I guess I'll change that before next time.
Yeah, we can just do test runs, you know. You can record your thing and see if it flashes there. Then we can know if it's like a stream thing.
I have recorded and it didn't flash.
Oh, then it might be an internet connection then. It's like lagging, so it's lagging a bit, so it's not showing what's supposed to be shown.
To see the flashing out of the corner of my screen because I have to stream open my phone. I just glare at it. Stop flashing. Stop, stop. Bastard. Bastard software.
I see. I'm looking at art right now, and it made me upset at first because people were being weird.
Well, that's not good.
Save your conflicts, you know the thing. But they deleted all the people that did that, deleted their stuff because they got called out. So now it's just compliments, and it's making me happy.
That's good.
You know, like I've noticed something. You know how my sneeze is like really high pitched and small.
Yes.
I've noticed something. I hold in my sneeze a lot because I don't like making noise, and it's so loud in my head when I hold it in. It sounds like in my head it sounds like this. And then if I let it go, it just goes.
It's
Why does
amazing.
it do that?
It's an amazing sneeze. It's amazing.
I hate my sneeze so much. Why is it so high pitched, and why does it sound like an anime character?
It's adorable. You
Man.
see this 5'9" monster come barreling at you, and then suddenly, achoo!
I don't even know why it's like that. Okay, it's always been like that. But I kind of assumed I would like grow out of it at some point, but then it just never left, and it just got higher pitched. It's so stupid. I don't know why it's like that. It doesn't even make sense. Sneezes aren't supposed to sound like that. Why does my sneeze is a personality on its own, and I don't get it.
Sneeze, oh whoa.
Man, one of my group chats are talking, and one of my friends sent a picture of like some snacks, and then they were like, my other friend was like, we don't have those available where they live, and then my other friend was like, Asian markets would have it, and then it was like, my country doesn't have it. That's so upsetting.
Their country doesn't have Asian markets?
Only in the capital.
Ah. What snack is it?
That's so upsetting. What?
What snack is it?
I don't know. I can't recognize it. It looks like French fries, but like more
Shrimp
appealing.
chips? Shrimp chips?
I think so.
If they are, shrimp chips are amazing.
I can send them to you. I can screenshot the photo. There you go. Cool chip thing. I don't know the name of anything. I don't even know the name of like American items. I'm just so terrible. Wait, I was about to send that to Cart. That would have been bad. Actually, both of them are Asian. They probably would have told me the answer too. And they talk about stuff like that all the time. Desktop. Wait, I just saved the image. It would be in images. But I'm gonna send you the cool image of the snack. Save. Give it to me. What is wrong with this computer? I hate this. What did I call it again?
Cool
I'm so
chip
upset right
thing.
now.
You called it cool chip thing.
Thank you. Where is it? Where'd it go? I'm upset right now. Save image. Why did it go to downloads? Desktop. Chip. Okay. Okay. I'm so speedy. Oh, there's Bucket. I was like trying to send you. Chip, 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 chip. There we go.
Oh,
These.
this is a very low quality image, but I can tell those are shrimp chips.
Let's go!
Shrimp chips. Shrimp chips, my beloved. I haven't had shrimp chips in forever.
Actually, I don't think I'm like not supposed to eat shrimp at all
Yep,
because my dad's like deathly allergic.
you're possibly allergic to shrimp.
I'm possibly deathly allergic to shrimp, so I can't have it.
You know, after you came over, my mom was like, "Oh, I had some cocktail shrimp in the fridge, and I realized I forgot to take them out during dinner." And I was like, "Oh, that's probably a good thing because Val may or may not be allergic to shrimps." She was like, "Huh?"
It was a paradox scenario. I was told I was allowed to have them at a party once, but I didn't take the risk. I instead had non-alcoholic beverages that were alcoholic beverages that they took alcohol out of.
Ah, well, you see, shrimp chips are worth death.
Oh, I guess I should have them. They actually look pretty good, honestly. They look like better French fries.
They're not made of potatoes. I actually don't
I
know.
would hope so.
I don't know what they're made of. I don't actually know if they contain shrimp.
Wait, let me check. Chips. Oh, this is a commonly asked question, apparently. Deep fried starch, and it's from Southeast Asia. Um, Tell me the ingredients, please. Why did you do that to me? Prawns,
That's a
tapioca
shrimp.
powder, flour. Yeah, I was pretty sure that was a shrimp. I played fishing games, so I guess it's shrimp, and then tapioca flour, and then water.
Ah,
We should try shrimp chips and see if I just die.
yeah, you.
You're so funny.
Do adults just call playdates meetups?
I don't know why. They are legitimately just play dates. We're playing. It's like a hangout date, and then we're playing. People just call them hangouts, and it's so weird. Why don't you just call it a play date?
New playdate
Are you
idea.
trying to act older than you are?
New playdate idea. Feed Val shrimp chips and see if she dies. We haven't had shrimp chips in forever. We have to go down to the Asian market. We used to have a big bag in the pantry, but Oatmeal and I fought each other to the death for them.
You know, I used to have like a bunch of like culturally different foods when one of my au pairs were over. My au pairs were over because like they're from Germany and they wanted to try everything. But then we just had like no tolerance to spice, so they just stopped trying.
Tragic.
we just we just They gave us some items. I think that they gave us like really spicy curry for like at least us. I actually had curry before. I forgot about this, but they gave this like really spicy curry for us, and then we couldn't take it, so they stopped giving us any type of food. We just ended
Tragic.
up eating the Costco orange chicken, which is not orange chicken at all.
Oh,
It's so disgusting. But we ate
tragic.
it anyways. I did. Both you and Taylor judged me for this, and it's terrible. I cannot control us. I'm a child.
You should train your taste buds to be better. I used to be unable to handle spice, so I put my taste buds through the gauntlet of fire, and now I have the most spice tolerance in my family. I also can't taste anything.
I can read bird calls pretty well.
You can what?
Yeah, I can read bird calls really well.
Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo.
No, it's because I would sit outside in the garden and I watched the birds, and then I would judge their activity to see what they were doing.
What's the one that goes hoo, 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 hoo?
That's an owl. That's not even a type of call. That's just an owl.
Why do they do it during the day then?
Yeah, I made a birdhouse one time.
I
made 2 birdhouses.
I thought those were mourning doves.
Huh?
I thought those were mourning doves.
Well, to be fair, you could just be mimicking badly. I've got to be honest with
It
you.
was like whoo, 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 whoo.
Yeah, that is more likely. Okay, you went like this. Whoo, whoo.
Okay. But it's always one high one followed by 3 softer lower ones.
It's whoo. Like that. If that even picked up, if that didn't pick up, that would be slightly embarrassing.
Only the first one.
Man. Like that.
No, only the first one.
I'm insulted by this. That even picked up. That didn't pick up.
I turned on my phone volume to play a mourning dove call, not realizing I had my stream on in the background.
Yeah, but I can read what they're trying to do. I can't really like tell them apart, but I can read what they're trying to do.
What's the one when they're ready to mate?
I have not heard the mating sound before.
You most definitely have.
As a child. I probably have, but I've probably like depleted it from my memory, so I just wouldn't remember it.
What's the one when they're
like really high pitched?
I don't know. I don't spend my time listening to birds. I watch Minecraft videos on YouTube. So like you bless you. You sneezed 5 times.
Okay. So. No, I was really little. That was like, I think that was like, I was still young enough to, when I was having those, I had my very active imagination.
What's the one for when their loved one dies?
Actually, that's not picking up any of my calls.
No, it isn't. I just hear distant.
This is so upsetting.
See a distant chow.
It's like a reverb sound. It's like it goes like really high and then it goes like really low. It's like chew. It's because it's the same sound I make when I'm upset with things, but like not to the same level. I make a very light one. I go.
The microphone didn't pick that one up either.
This is hurtful at this point. I realized something. I mimic animals because I mimic things really easily. I mimic like animals and stuff. Because you know, I actually like I saw, I think when I was little, I saw a lot of images of like animals with hooves, right? And you know how animals with hooves, they walk around in certain ways.
Yeah?
And I've noticed that when I'm like, my relaxed position is always on my tippy toes bent backwards a bit with my knees forward.
Trying to figure out how that's relaxing.
That's just my like pose when I'm like I'm completely zoned out. But then like my feet start hurting because I'm not built for that.
You are, in
I can
fact,
actually stand on my tippy toes for an hour.
as
Just
if you need to
just
be
doing
taller.
it. I just naturally go to like a full tippy toe and it's really funny. I just saw a post and it was like the geometry dash guy was like, if Minecraft YouTubers touch geometry dash, I will leave the fandom. And then it's just someone replied with an image of Temple playing geometry dash 6 months ago.
There's a Geometry Dash fandom?
They are very very loud.
Oh,
They complain a lot and they get mad easily. They like to think their game is a rhythm game, so they get upset at people who don't think it is. And then they're gatekeepy. I don't know why, because there's geometry dash, but it's okay.
sure.
Geometry dash, I don't understand you, but it's okay.
It's okay, Geometry Dash.
Do you, I guess.
Live your best internet life, Geometry Dash.
The geometry dash fandom, just do your best, I guess. I've realized something. You know the way people do streams? So it is desktop streams, because you know how you can't get like the Celeste on like a Windows. You have to do desktop, but the way people do it with one screen is they put it in the corner and then they put OBS behind it and they make OBS like full screen pretty much. But like so you can see the bottom and you can see the top and you can see the corner of the screen. And so you can see like the messages in chat and stuff. And then you have like the game you're playing, and it's like on your OBS thing, you cut it out so the game is showing.
I see.
Man,
Just got my chat open on my phone.
I also do that. But that's what Cup Toast said. And Crumb Cup Toast is a reliable source of information.
Cup Toast would never lie to me.
They would never. I've been looking, several connected bands things, and they're just, what's so funny about it?
What?
There's a Technoblade Benson. There's a Rambo Benson. There's a Tubbo Benson. Guess what there's not?
A Tommy Benson.
There's no Tommy Benson, but there's a Technoblade Benson.
You sent this message to me.
I did?
Yes.
It's just so funny to me. It's hilarious.
There's going to be new Jealous in it.
Why is it Technoblade?
Well, you know who's...
Fireworks Twitter is, like, deprived, but, like...
Well, you know who's a recurring figure in the mod videos, and who isn't?
Over?
It's a...
Charlie Feinbickle?
It's a Ranmu joke. Because he's been in, like...
Twice.
Well, I mean, the Bed Wars proximity chat wasn't a mod video, but he was in the...
Tubbo was in that one.
Okay, but he was in the Void Rising video, and he was in the Morph Mod You Laugh You Lose video, and he was in the zombie stream.
Which is that Tubbo has been in more mod videos. He just hasn't been in the recent ones.
I remember the mule bits.
No, Tommy used to do different types of videos, and that Tubbo was like in all of them.
Yeah.
I think it's because Tubbo sleeps during the day.
Tubbo sleep schedule.
Really silent.
It's
so terrible. He wakes up at 2 a.m. It's actually looped around fully. So now he woke up at 5 today. So
If he keeps it up, eventually you have a normal sleep schedule.
And then it will get messed up again. It's like it's continuously moving forward. It's a horrible system. Every time Halo says maybe in a bit I have to do something, and they just never show up.
Well, last time you said that, she showed up immediately.
They did show up. That was hilarious.
Wow, Halo would never show up to a video, to a stream. She's just never here.
Halo doesn't show up. That's the thing.
She just straight up does not. She is never on time.
That's not a thing. She does.
If Halo showed up to the stream right now, I would eat the cat lamp I stole from Oatmeal.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you use because your role is any pronouns? Do you use any pronouns?
Yes.
Let's go. This is because I use any pronouns. We are so powerful.
Yes.
Doesn't it? Yeah, Hillary is just there. Let me check. I have to check now. Yeah, Hillary is official. We could have gotten all three of us, but no. This is so terrible.
Much like Halo never shows up to the stream, huh?
Yeah, mom's looks. Yeah. Why is my Twitter timeline so weird? I don't. It's none of these things relate to anything. Why is there so much Genshin Impact on my timeline? I don't follow these people.
I saw a Tumblr post once. I was like, Twitter isn't that bad. You just have to follow the people you like and block words and mute hashtags and turn off the recommended stuff and turn off the non-linear timeline and turn off and mute all the drama accounts and mute everyone you don't like. And it was like a paragraph long. And it's like, that's so much work to have a good social media experience.
You see, the issue is when I have to block words, you have to type the words. So if I want to block like a slur, you see, I have an issue there. Things aren't tagged. Things are never tagged properly on Twitter.
I don't even know how. I think you can.
The thing is, that actually paragraph was a lie. Fun fact, because people will be there anyways. Here's the rules. You don't look at the quote retweets on anything, no matter what.
Oh yeah, that was part of the paragraph. Let me see if I can find it actually.
Don't look at the quote tweets no matter what, because it will always be terrible. It will just be incredibly racist and homophobic people.
That is like me trying to convince myself not to look at the comments on Kiss Anime.
But the thing is, I do it anyways. I can't help myself. I do it anyways, and I always end up falling for it, and it's terrible, and I have to block like 50 people. You know, 9 months ago, apparently, was the first Tubbo and Tommy meetup.
Huh.
We've almost been in this fandom for a year. I actually have, I think, 2 weeks. And then I'm in the Dream SMT fandom for a year.
I see.
I don't know when Tommy joined. That's when I started watching. It was his first stream.
That's also when I started watching, but I was a YouTube until
I watched on Twitch.
Yeah, until November 16th.
Live. This is bringing back memories to when Arid and Tubbo would stream at like 2. Was it like 3? At like 3 a.m. they would just talk, and it was like the Rambo Tubbo streams. And I just keep getting flashbacks to it because Arid's live right now.
I'm looking for the paragraph, but I can't find it.
Yeah, Twitter, you can't escape Twitter. There's just racist people.
Okay. Oh, why do I have so many unread emails? Why does YouTube email me when I go live?
I think it's all it's an alert system. You can turn that off, you know.
I see.
I think it's to make sure in case you went like without knowing. Because some people have hockey suspended.
Okay.
People have done that. That's an actual thing.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah. I remember there's this story of someone who was just in the room chilling out and they went live for like 4 hours and
Chill
they went to go
stream.
to bed. I wanted to go to bed. That's all I know about this story, and I know it went inappropriate after that point. And the person got banned.
You cannot sleep on. Oh no, wait. I was about to say something about how they banned sleeping streams, then unbanned them after a little bit.
I think they banned something else involved.
Okay. I once saw a YouTube video where someone's cat turned on their stream.
Oh yeah, they can do that. That would be horrifying as well. But I don't have a cat, so you know. You know what was so funny? This is trigger warning, dead pets. But you know what was so funny? I was in a texting one of my friends, right? And they had two pictures of dogs, right? And I went, those look like my dog. I was like, oh, I had that type of I had two of that type of dog. Had. And they responded with moss and then an image of both of the dogs, right? And then I just put and more like, and I put my little character that they did, and then I put two coffins.
Oh no!
Like, and then I deleted it, and then I just went had. And I cried. I had to go to my friend's house with how much I was crying about my dog's dying.
Oh.
Yeah. It was actually on like a rainy, like it was one of the stormy days, you know, when it rains so much that it knocks things over kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we went out into the streets in our jackets and umbrella, and we made dams on like the where the water tank is. So we made dams out of like mud and dirt, and we got a shovel, and then we made our little dams to stop the water from escaping. I think I remember my friend said it was this. It was that I was crying so much that the sky started crying too because it was mad at me.
Oh.
Honestly, I don't think that's the most comforting thing to tell a third grader about them crying about their dead pets. But you know, okay, that's the same friend that chased me around with a flamethrower, so I think it's pretty normal. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
I was actually remembering a lot about my childhood recently. I had a really, really overactive imagination. Like it was the point of like this was nearing hallucination state, you know, that kind of thing.
Um.
Because I remember waking up every single day in the middle of the night and not being able to sleep because I was so scared of nightmares that I would walk downstairs to the couch downstairs and sit there and stare at the TV without it being on. And then I would hear cackling and people talking.
I see.
There was always a person at the staircase, but whenever I walked up to them, they would disappear.
God damn it. You made me look at my staircase.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a very blurry, dark shape, and it was like green eyes or
Dream!
something. Yeah, so they would hang out in the corner. I think I remember one time that they didn't disappear entirely and they went higher up the staircase, so I kept following them. And then I let it into like my bathroom next to my room, and then like it went out the window
You would die
and
in a
stood
horror
out in the
movie.
street. Stood on the street. I was like 6.
Thank God you didn't keep following it.
The window was like we had at that point in time we had the window open except for the fly net. So yes, little kid B could have gone out the window and started following it more.
You would die in a horror movie.
Stood out in the street and it was like making weird noises. It was like, how do I mimic this? I don't know how much of that picked up, but it was doing that.
It sort
It
of
was very
sounded like you
fascinating, very
sneezed,
spooky.
but like a normal person would sneeze.
Man, you're making my nose itch because it's just randomly wanted to sneeze now.
Don't sneeze.
It's so dumb and stupid. I hate that sneeze. Why does my laugh if I sneeze are on like the same trajectory where it's like my laugh is like I'm just dying fish mode and my sneeze is like I've become an anime character.
Achoo! It's me.
Something like that.
The main magical girl, Val. I don't know. I don't know to continue that bit.
Oh, that didn't pick up. I don't think I think I've turned up my sensitivity too much. You can't hear my sneezes anymore.
Huh.
I'm gonna actually turn it down because you couldn't hear my bird calls. So I think this is just I have my sensitivity up too high. Hello.
Hello.
Like that was my test. That was not an actual sneeze. Yeah, but it's like that. But yeah. I also remember like Beverly there was like this there was two other recording characters. There was like this old woman that was very hunched over and she was a witch, I think. And she would sit between the bars of my staircase, and when I started walking down it, she would cackle at me and then laugh at me and call me mean names
Staircase.
and say how I was gonna die soon.
Staircase.
Yeah, it was on a staircase. And then things would go flying around my head, and I would hear people yelling at me and calling me like horrible and disgusting, and it was like I was like 6. I don't know where this came from. I don't even think about myself that way. I'm like, okay, okay, 6-year-old pal. Yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. Also, there was another one, which was this is the first nightmare I ever had. I remember I was sitting in I actually never told this in my proper detail before, but I was sitting at the edge of my bed, and I was like kind of like huddled, huddled up next to my blankets and pillows. Because at that point, my bed was like still up against the windowsill because we moved it because I didn't like sitting there because it was uncomfortable and there was always spiders. And so I was sitting up at the corner of it, like by the edge. And I remember like feeling like water against my feet because I was like very close to the edge at that point. One leg was like hanging over, and I remember feeling like water against my feet. So I put it like back up, and then I looked up, and I could like see, like I could see one person which looked like more like the Little Mermaid, and it was like a very soft looking mermaid. And they had a bunch of other people. It was like an army kind of thing. And on the other side, there was like this very sunken looking woman, a very bony gray skin with like the blue tint, and like with a trident looking thing, but it was like a bony trident, and it was like drenched in like a bluish red blood, which red blood a bit weird considering when they stabbed the mermaid people, it was blue. Where did they get the red blood from?
Because
Alarms me a bit.
stabbing normal fish. Or it's
Sure, let's go with that.
cranberry jelly.
Let's go. Yeah, and then there was like an old man next to this person that was standing next to them that looked also dead, and the rest of the people looked dead, and they had like sharp nails, and they looked like they just wanted at any second to kill, so they just kind of leapt at the other mermaids, and they like gouged at their flesh.
Fantastic.
I think I was 4.
Oh. One time I was watching...
100% your head.
I see. One time I was watching Winnie the Pooh, the Tigger movie, and suddenly the movie stopped, and there was a loud buzzing sort of sound from the DVD player. And I was like, why isn't my movie playing? So I think my mom came downstairs and she opened up the DVD player, and the disc was half burnt. The paper was actually, the paper on top of the disc was in tatters. And she was like, oh my god, this could have set on fire. And I was like, I see.
And you just said, I see.
I didn't say I see, I was just like, oh, but can I watch my movie though?
Oh, did you have any imaginary friends?
Well, I, I, I had imaginary acquaintances that I talked to for a bit, and then they got replaced. Such is the life.
Yeah. I think I had one continuous friend until I was 10, and they weren't like human or anything. They were, it was like it was a small, I think I've actually explained this to you, but I didn't explain to you they were an imaginary friend. I just said they were a rabbit. But it was like crystalline pink rabbit. It was like a crystal pink rabbit. And they were slightly transparent and had like small golden wings. And they would hop around the room and leave like a trail behind them that was like hard to look at. And whenever I looked at it, I felt like my head was hurting. And then they would walk around the room and make rabbit noises at me. And then they would shove me in certain directions. And then I would, well, they wouldn't shove me because they physically couldn't touch me either. So I would move in certain directions because of them. And I think I remember them talking once, but it was like a very, it was like an off talk, and it was like they told me to run out of the room I was in, and I was in the middle of class, and just run out of the room. That was it.
Huh. If I were you, I would have
Nothing
followed
to
that
react.
advice. Because when I was little, I was convinced I was the protagonist of a fantasy novel, and that if I had a feeling to
I
do
tried to
something,
leave. I asked to go to the bathroom. I walked outside and I stood in the hallway. And then my nose started bleeding, but that was unrelated. I just didn't. It was bleeding earlier ago, and I just hadn't noticed.
well,
They thought I was going to the bathroom to get tissues or something, but no, I just hadn't noticed the nose bleeds.
huh. Well, at least your classroom didn't immediately get annihilated or something, and you had to become the the sole like protagonist. But yeah, I was convinced I was the protagonist of a fantasy novel, and if I had a bad intuition about something, it would be like, because the protagonist, and when they got a bad feeling about this, they're always right. So if I had a bad feeling about something, I'd be like, we can't do that. We'll all die. My parents would be like, stop, just go to the park. And I was like, we'll all die.
I actually had a really good gut feeling. Like I'm almost always correct about it. It's really weird, but I never listened to it. I don't know why. I'm just kind of stupid like that.
Yeah. Eventually, I realized I don't have protagonist superpowers. I just didn't want to go to the park.
Um, I never thought I was a protagonist. I did one day. I would wish at every book I saw to take me in because I didn't want to live in this boring reality.
Kept trying to open portals, trying to open portals to different worlds in the yard by drawing symbols in the dirt. So I was like, this is how they do it.
Yeah. I tried to do the thing from Unwanted, where you would craft a little guy and then try to wish creativity into them. It didn't work.
Didn't they dump those kids into an oil pit?
Oh, so you see what they did in Unwanted, and here's the thing. They went, so if you liked any of like the creativity aspects of life, so like drawing and art and writing and stuff, like writing creatively, and they found out that you were doing these things illegally, they would take you once you turned 16, I believe, and they
It's
would
that
put you up
age.
on the stage. Yeah, they would put you up on the stage, and then everyone had to go through this. And there's three levels you can go
Yeah,
to.
I read that
You can be a
series.
wanted. Yeah, you could be a wanted. I think I'm just kind of explaining this to the non-existent chat right now. You could be a wanted. You could be whatever the other one was, and no one
Necessary?
was. And you could be necessary, which works in the fields and stuff, and didn't get any money, but they were alive, I guess. Or you could be unwanted, and they put you on a bus, and they traveled you out really far, and then what they expected they did is they thought they were drenching you in oil and watching you slowly, painfully die. That's what they thought they did, but instead you went into a magical other world.
Yeah. That was kind of fucked up. That was kind of a messed up kid series.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, I know
Like
in,
a lot of it,
and
I read the entire thing. I read all 9 books.
oh Christ, I only read like the first three or something. I know like in Hunger
There's
Games.
worse.
Oh, I know there's like an island of crow people, and there's not in. I think is it no, it's a different island from crow people. There's the one that makes you wear necklace thorns to shut you up.
Oh, that was the Island of Silence.
Terrifying.
That was horrible. Okay, what they did on the Island of Silence. This was horrifying. And what they did on the Island of Silence is that anyone who was there would get knocked out and caught by people who were like stuck there, and then they would put them in a room where they would slowly stitch thorns into their neck that would cut out their vocal cords, like like stop them from being able to move pretty much, and also mark them forever. And then they would like recolor their eyes or something. I don't remember what
Like
it was.
it was a
Then they were
orange,
scarlet.
sunset orange. I liked that actually. I was like, I want sunset orange eyes. I don't want my throat to be filled with thorns though.
It was so they were forever marked as property of the queen.
Yeah.
So even if they got the thorns away and they were wearing up a collar, they couldn't get rid of the eyes. And then they would put them in like small groups, completely separated from whoever they came in, and they were also sexist. But
That's like a small thing compared to thorn necklace.
they also are sexist, but we can ignore that part compared to the rest of the part.
I think I had bigger issues.
Yeah, they would make the guys build ships and weapons, and they'd make the girls do like cooking and cleaning and like sewing and sewing clothing. Yeah, they didn't ban creativity though, and they wouldn't kill anyone unless they were trying to rebel. I think most of the time they recaptured people and tortured them into submission.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and there was this other island. This one made me very sad. There was this other island. There was a bunch of them, but here's 3 of the other islands that existed. There was this island of like legend stuff, and the island would eventually die, and all the people living on it would never be able to, would not live anymore, and the island was alive, so it was a moving island. So eventually the island would die and it would sink into the sea, and everyone who lived on it and all made their home would die as well. They
Yep.
took the island to the Unwanted Island because, plot progression. They
I,
also killed off a bunch of the main characters.
oh, I mean, I remember that series didn't pull punches, but like, oh,
But whenever they threatened death, they were like actually gonna kill someone.
I got a couple of those books on my bookshelf right now. Actually,
Yeah.
it's hold on, let me
They
see.
they made they had this really sad, impactful death, and I can't remember the name of the person, but I know that everyone kept bringing it up, and it was friends with the other dude, the angry guy. It was the angry guy's girlfriend, pretty much. That's what I think I remember. Unless it was, I think it was the angry guy's best friend that he made while being and like being an unwanted, and then when she died terribly by like her brother or something. It was her mother or brother, or I think it was the angry guy's dad who shot her while the angry guy was like next to her.
I've got the Island of Legends and the Island of Shipwrecks on my.
Oh, the shipwreck island. That was upsetting. That island was upsetting because it was the emotional island. the island of shipwrecks made it so it was. We found out some lore about the land. It was in the Bermuda Triangle.
Lore?
Yeah, there was so here was some lore. It was I think it wasn't in the Bermuda Triangle. It was like in the Dragon's Triangle or something. And it was like any of the ships that got stuck in there were transported to this world that was inescapable. It had a ledge at the end of the world, and if you fell down the ledge, you would fall on the other side. And it was inescapable. And all the people who came there originally were from Earth and were unable to leave and go back to their families.
They just individually set up the Death Society.
Yeah, but there was this island that was near one of the borders. It was the island of shipwrecks, and it had a forever. It like the storm kept going on forever and ever. So there was always a storm, pretty much. I think it was like twice a month the storm let go, and there was like a whirlpool, and it like sucked everyone in. And there was a bunch of rocks, so your boat would always get destroyed and get sucked into this small island with barely any resources. And you'd meet this old guy who would always be like, "I'm old and wise." You know what? You know what story made me the most upset? I cried during the Ilmatis book. I read that book and I cried because Alex made me so emotional. But Aaron made me very sad on the island of shipwrecks. Like
The
the
worst
book
twin?
after it. You see, what happened was he went. I'm gonna do evil stuff, and I'm gonna leave and be malicious.
I thought he was having a redemption arc.
That was, I think, he had a redemption arc. I'm
He
pretty
just
sure.
decided to stop.
No, it was one of those weird things where he was really angry at Alex because Alex was getting constant attention and everyone loved him, but everyone thought terribly of Aaron.
I mean, maybe he should have murdered the old dude then. Ah.
Yeah, but he went to the island of shipwrecks by accident, and there was another island that was even worse. Now that I remember it, there was like another island that was just plain horrible. It was better than the island of silence,
Ah,
but
yeah.
it,
Most
it
things are better than the.
everything was kind of better than that. But he got stuck on the island of shipwrecks, and he had to talk to the old dude who lived there, and he got stuck there for months. And he slowly became a better person living there. And he
Island of
became good friends with
Graves?
the old dude. Oh, the island of graves. Yeah, the island of graves was the really bad one because you see what happened on the island of graves was there was people that would get stuck there, and there was like monsters that were like monkey monsters. And what happened was this boat full of animals that was like a circus came in, and so they ended up getting loose on the island, right? And there was a bunch of diary entries, and it was pretty much like they were very abusive to the animals, and and it was like, and the captain was abusive information, and it was like everyone was having a bad time. But then the animals got loose, and they like slowly evolved and became more terribly dangerous. And then it's this person that I think was like the old guy on the island of shipwrecks, like granddaughter or something. Can't remember. She got stranded there, and instead of the monkey people killing her, they trapped her in a cage and looked at her for their amusement and thought, "Honey pet, do dance."
You know things are really
And she was
messed
stuck
up.
there for years.
You know things are really messed up where the island where you will be put into tar pit for drawing a picture is one of the better places to live.
Honestly, yeah. I think because the island of shipwrecks you die, the island of dragons you couldn't like get up on, so you had to be a dragon or else you would also die. The island in the skies was so bad. It was just so bad. You don't know about the island skies?
I
Pretty
only,
much the
I only read the first three
the
books.
yeah, the island in the skies was part of the unwanted. Continued with with their little sisters, twins, little sisters that are also twins. But pretty much it was this island in the skies that you had to take a dragon to get to, and it was the island there. It was like another island of dragons, but it was in the sky instead.
I might have
But
actually read that book.
yeah, it was that one, and then they were just they kept children in catacombs and made them like do work all day, for their own twisted form of trying to control magic. I'm pretty sure. But it wasn't to control magic, it was just to get more powerful because they did have magic. And then they killed dragons and locked them in cages and tortured them.
You know, I never finished this series when I was a kid, but I'm trying to think maybe I should have.
Yeah, this is what I remember from this. I remember it being quite horrifying to read, and then I was really engaged by it.
Yeah.
I also, do you want the spoiler to one of the books
Sure.
that was really, really sad? So Alex was fighting the Queen Lady from the Island of Silence, right? She came on a boat. She came by and she was like attacking the island, and they had this big fight. And you already know about the island getting all locked down after the guy dies. So Alex and her have this fight, and pretty much someone saves Alex. But before they save Alex, arm go chop. The arm he writes, he draws with and writes with, so he wasn't able to create anymore.
I should have been born left-handed. Wait, he is left. Wait. One of them is left-handed. Okay, it was a plot point. That was a plot point at some point. Should have been born right-handed.
Yeah, I think he was the left-handed one, but they cut off his arm, and he wasn't able to like create anymore, and that was his whole thing. So since he was the leader anyways, how was he supposed to like help them if he can't make anything to help them or use magic?
Should have been born right-handed.
And he was really sad, and he got really depressed in like the later books. He got like super depressed and really upset. And he was really defensive about his sisters because he didn't want them to die.
I mean, valid.
Yeah. But then they ran off. And one-armed Alex, who couldn't do magic, had to go save them. And Simba.
Simba?
Simba. I always called it Simba because I couldn't figure out how you were supposed to pronounce the name. Yeah.
He is a lion with wings.
Yeah, it was a lion. That's why I called it Simba.
I think he had a fake out death once.
Other lady that died. Yeah. Yeah, that made me sad. Oh yeah, but here's the other thing. Guess what also happened during that time? Alex got his arm chopped off. The love of his life went out to sea to go talk to the person in the island of like shipwrecks and stuff after they cleared the waters. But she got lost in the sea and never found again.
I see. Which one was that? He had a few love interests.
Actually on the floating island. She got kidnapped. She was actually on the floating island, but she couldn't leave the floating island. No one could leave the floating island. It's floating. So Alex just had to deal with the fact that the love of his life was dead. His brother was not hanging out with him anymore. He couldn't create anymore. And his sisters were constantly trying to leave the safety of his place that he lived in.
That's rough, buddy.
Also, his friends still blamed him for the death of his other friend, even though they weren't saying it.
A lot of people died.
Alex is not having a good time. Alex is not having a good time. Yeah, a lot of people died in that book.
At least.
Like a lot of people.
At least he didn't get tar pitted.
There was at least 12 people that died. That were like important.
Well, I mean, the original old man, that's a given.
Yeah, he died. And then someone else died, and then someone else died, and then someone else also died, and then the parents both died. But they weren't, I guess, cool. They just kind of died. Which left the twins with them.
Well, Mr. Old Man and the parents is sort of a given.
The pirate dude died.
But everybody else is sort of like, ow.
The pirate dude from Pirate Island died. Wait, you don't know Pirate Island, do you?
I only read the first 3 books, which are, let me check.
It was a volcano. They lived in a volcano.
The Island of Fire?
That one.
Listen, this was like ages ago. I was still in elementary school, so it was at least 6 years ago.
It lived in a volcano, and I also read it in elementary school. And it lowered into the ground, and they'd come back up because they lived in a volcano. And they had all these, like, things in store in case there was stuff, and they fought a bunch. And then a bunch of people died there, but then they survived again, and the pirates came back to attack the Unwanteds.
Uh-huh.
But, by the way, it was really one thing that I found really weird is that they had this whole system where the Wanteds didn't want to be with the Unwanteds anymore, so they made like a separate town for them, right?
Yeah.
And then they would like try and like satisfy their needs and stuff. And like I think they gave it to Aaron to like have, I guess. But they just kind of let whoever was born there just get stuck with the old system. But they didn't have the threat of death anymore. They just had the threat of being hated.
So they didn't just move out to the awesomer, better town?
No, because they got brainwashed into thinking everything creative was terrible and horrible.
Well, they had like a perfect divergent situation where it's like, if you like drawing, you go into this epic, awesome, amazing town with magic. If you like math, you stay here in the boring town of boringness.
The thing was, if you got told your entire life that you would die and you would live a horrible existence if you were being creative, and then all of a sudden there's this land of people that you've spent your entire life purposely subduing all these things, and then all of a sudden all the people who did it get to hang out in this cool land where they think they're better than you.
They are.
And so you think, yeah, so you think you're better than them. So you cause war, but then you lose them.
How
And
do
then
you?
all of a sudden you're just here because they had magic.
Oh, yes, the boring people lost the war. Uh,
No, the boring people had a lot of guns. They killed a lot of people.
yes,
They
but
also started fighting them while they didn't have magic.
uh, yes, but
So they were winning by a lot.
can the boring people create literal life? Not
They
through
had
babies.
maps and stuff. Yeah, the thing about the boring people is they were pretty much brainwashed into believing what they were doing was the right thing and everything else was wrong.
I know the protagonist can't have a gun because it's a kid's book. But like, man, I sort of
Most of the
remember.
characters had a gun. I'm pretty sure he held a sniper rifle.
Yeah, but he had rubber bands. He had rubber bands that he enchanted, and that was like his main thing, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he held. I think he gave it. Yeah, he held a weapon, but then he gave it to someone else.
Can't have that as the protagonist of a kid's book.
Yeah, I just remember one of the characters getting shot in the head, and it being really sad. It was like a straight through the head kind of thing. I had a lot of murder in that book, and terrible, terrible things happening.
I'm trying to Google search a list of all the dead characters.
I know a lot of people died in Unwanted. Who died in Unwanted? Unwanted series. Oh, I forgot Alex died.
He did? That's the
Yeah.
main. That's the main boy.
He died in Unwanted quest. He was protecting his sisters. He had nothing left to live for, anyways, in his mind.
He didn't even die in the main series.
Yeah, he didn't die in the main series. He pretty much died in the main series. He lost everything he loved in the main series.
There wasn't even a happy ending in the main series.
Yeah, you see, the way Alex died was really sad because he died suddenly and there wasn't anyone around.
My
They just found
boy.
his body later.
My boy. No. Ah.
Yeah,
Ah.
so he died sad, depressed, alone, and miserable.
Oh. At least he wasn't tar pitted to death.
Apparently, he dies in the fifth book, Unwanted Quest. which I didn't read.
Man gets a middle of the series death.
To be fair, that was a really depressing death because multiple other characters was like he changed after he lost his arm, and then everyone else was like he's sad, he's miserable, and then he went to save his sisters, and then he died. And also, the reason his sisters got captured in the first place was because of him, because of like his family lineages. So they were trying to use them, get the special magic kind of thing.
Man deserves better.
And then he died alone and miserable.
This is so depressing.
Yeah. There were so many characters. Oh, Sam Heed, that was the angry guy.
Sam, he died?
No, he didn't die. I think he was the only guy, one of the only guys that lived. Marcus died, yeah. Lonnie. Lonnie was the one that was a double agent.
She was a double agent?
No, she was a double agent against the other guys.
Oh, thank God. I was like,
That
but wasn't...
the first book.
Yeah, I was like, oh, but wasn't she one of Alex's closest friends? That would have been terrible.
There was Scarlet. And Crow had a crush on her. Oh, I remember Scarlet. She was the small child. That Crow was also a small child. And there was Sky.
As Alex's love interest after Lonnie.
Lonnie is not his love interest.
He had a crush on her in like the first book.
He had a crush on her in the very beginning, and then it was like got over with quickly kind of crush.
Yeah.
And then he had a crush on her. And then they hung out, and then they got trapped on an island together where they were tortured and had to seek solidarity in each other.
Yeah. I remember that part.
Yeah. It won't tell me everyone who died.
Ah.
But there was a lot of characters, and a lot of them did die, so... The only characters they didn't kill was the children. Wait, they did kill the children.
Okay.
I forgot about this. You know what they did? You know what they purposely did? This was the smart thing, and a sad thing. On the book, where the pirates attacked and all that stuff, they loaded up the children into the cannons with parachutes, and they shot them.
Oh, I remember that. That was so fucked up.
Yeah, it was so the parents were like, if the wanted to get them instead, they probably won't kill them and just knock them out or something. But the pirate lady definitely wanted to fight to the death, and they were like legitimately fighting kind of thing. The Sam he'd die in Unwanted. Megan died, I knew that one. Justin dies.
Isn't that the original old man?
No, that wasn't the other guy. That was Marcus. Marcus died. I think Justin was the pirate captain.
I didn't bother getting too attached to Mr. Today. He is like eccentric mentor, and I was like, you're dead.
Justin was the high priest.
Who?
It was the guy that was indoctrinating people into believing creativity was bad.
Ah. He had it coming.
And it was Justine. Or so entertaining.
Yes, talking about this kids series.
Why do they? I looked it up as saying he dies, and they gave me a picture of Megan.
So I guess the answer is no.
Yeah. But then it gave me. Here's what it gave me. It said she dies, leaving her 3 best friends with a large amount of grief, which is Megan, right?
Yeah.
And then relatives, Lonnie, wife. Wait a second. They aren't married in the books yet.
Aren't they like
And then the
16?
general.
Wait, what's the time scale of these
Technically,
books?
they're like 20.
Oh, shit.
They start at 16. They end at like 25 or something. I don't know. I know the children were like they were like 0, and then they were like 12 in Unwanted Quest. So that's like 12 years.
That is
They
how
usually
age
got
works.
married, but I don't remember them being married in Unwanted Quest. I think they were still just dating. And then it's his full name, Samheed Birkenstein, and then home mansion our time, affiliations our time, right? It's Samheed Birkenstein Unwanted's wiki. But why is the photo a picture of Megan, first of all? And why is it talking about Megan in the description? But the
Okay,
actual information is right.
so you said that Sam and Lonnie were married, but I thought you said that Sky and Lonnie were married. So I was like, that's a twist. So I looked it up and I was like,
No,
oh,
see, that's what I said. Angry guy, so mean. Man, we're just relearning information. I have a really good long-term memory. I just have a terrible short-term memory. I just realized they don't. You know what I just realized? They have all this like rainbow theme in the books, and there's like creativity and stuff. None of the characters are like gay.
mm,
That's so weird. Not that there like needs to be like a gay character when there's like not that many romances, but I feel like that's just such an odd thing for specifically this universe.
yeah. In the if I mean if like because there's still there's the Unwanted Quest, right? So I have no idea when these books were published. So I guess if those are more recent, then you know.
Yeah, I guess they just kept in. You know, the person who wrote it. Wait, uh, came in our area one time.
Ah,
I think they stopped by our school and presented, but I can't remember. I remember buying this one book because I didn't get her book, and they had signed copies, but I couldn't make it to that. So I went and bought this other book the next day, and it was about World War II, and I never read it.
ah. Starting to think I should actually finish the Unwanted series, but then again, it has been I did get a 6 year gap, so and also I'm a so much slower reader than I was when I was a child.
Yeah. I love Joy Zen. They're really good. Which one's your favorite?
One day.
I see. Mine is Blank Cells.
Ah, you can't even say the name.
I can't say the name for them. Stop. This is like the specific word is just coming to attack me constantly because it's also the name of the group chat I'm in.
Ah, yes, the blankers.
The blankers. You know, my friends sometimes call it blankers because I can't say it, so they pick up the phrase for me.
Mm. Keep thinking of
We
this.
also look a lot. We also look a lot less like we're literally named that, but we call it the blankers.
Mm. I keep thinking of the line, life is fucking inconsistent. One day, you'll finally be there.
Stop!
One day, I'll find.
You killed my cat. Why
Stop!
did you kill my
But
cat?
why'd you have
Stop!
to kill my cat?
You
Why'd I
killed
have
my
to
cat.
take you back?
Yeah. Sorry, that's the line that's stuck in my head. Stop! Why'd you have to kill my cat? That stupid line. It's stuck in my head. I keep singing it all day. I don't even remember
Fucking
any of the lines from Blank
inconsistent.
Spells. All I know is I really liked it.
Yeah.
I want the because I think they're gonna make a music video for each one. I want the next one to be Blank Sauce. But also, there's like been no love for the last song in the album because it's the last song in the album.
I changed
That's
my
why.
Discord status to eating the foam from the headrest because
Ugh.
I really like the last one as well. Oh, it's freaking
I
insane.
just changed mine to every day. You know the AP. You want to know something that with the AP people because they're mean. So, fun fact: the AP testing board. If you have if you need it, if you want accommodations, so you need them, right?
Yeah.
When do you think you have to send in the letter or ask for it?
2 weeks ago.
Would it be? You would think, right? It was January 10th, before I was even in the AP course.
Ooh.
It was before I was even in the class. How was I supposed to know to do that? And they also like they won't even like change it now or anything. This is also incredibly evil. Another thing I found out. I am the only one in my family that doesn't have an IEP because my parents gave it up because that's what the school told them because the school's evil like that. If you don't know what an IEP is, it's pretty much like extra help you get that for people who like it's extra help you get if you can't do well in school about it kind of thing. So you can get like a speech IEP and stuff. You get a caseworker that does your case and stuff. But the school like really hates it when you have an IEP because they have to do extra work. So they'll try and convince your parents and they won't tell them exactly what the IEP is. And they'll be like, your kid doesn't need it anymore, they're out of elementary school. So they'll try and convince your parents to drop it. And once your parents drop it, you can't get it back. So later in life, if you need it, you can't get it. And the only way for me to get an IEP now is to have a bunch of stuff done to prove that I have ADHD.
Oof.
And I need official diagnoses, like multiple of them, even though I literally have multiple people. I go to therapy where they talk about my ADHD, and it's like, are you kidding me? And they were like, oh, your caseworker would have told you to do it on January 10th. If they thought you were going to take the test, you should have alerted them that you were going to do it.
Oof.
First of all, I don't have a caseworker. My caseworker's the counselor because I don't have an IEP. That's not on their radar. They're not going to tell me to do that. What is wrong with you? Evil AP people.
Yeah. Another reason to another reason to dislike them.
Also, they have the app that they make you download monitors your whole computer. So it has the keystroke download and it monitors all the apps that monitors all your apps, makes sure none of them open, and if any of them do, it checks that and it monitors how long you stay on one screen. It monitors when you log in and what time it is on your computer, and it monitors your internet connection. It monitors if your computer is standardized, and it's like, okay, the moment I can, I'm deleting that.
The dystopian future. I did not read the terms and conditions before downloading it.
They don't give you them till they really don't give you them till you already download it, and then they have them.
I scrolled past like
It's
9
probably on its
paragraphs.
official website. It has it there, but then they make you read the terms and conditions, and then they show you a video where they're all happy-go-lucky, and they're like, "We get to monitor your computer and everything you write and say in it." Thanks, AP testing.
Definitely not
Like,
creepy at
we
all.
get to monitor your keystrokes when you're typing and what you're typing in case you're not typing something that matches up with what you wrote. We also get to monitor what apps you have open and what apps you have opened, and when you open them, and what type of computer you have, and how big your computer is. Oh, and those images on your desktop, those two.
What? They're gonna see my anime background.
Yeah. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, what time did you join? Did you not join 30 minutes before? Oh, and by the way, we have to have this 30-minute long test to see if your computer's correct. And if you don't log in 30 minutes before the test starts, then guess what? You don't get to take the test.
Thank God you're telling me this now. I did not know that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to take the test.
I would have perished.
Yeah, it's so I went and read all 14 requirements for the test, which was so long and took me a good extra 15 minutes to read on top of the practice test. And inside of it, it says, by the way, just so you know, all these things are banned, and we'll be monitoring everything. And here's this video that will explain to you that you need to log in 30 minutes before. And if you don't log in 30 minutes before, you don't get to take the test, and there's no refunds. Well, yeah, thanks, AP testing.
There's really only one company that does AP testing in America, so you can't just sort of call them out by, well, I guess plausible deniability. If they're like, but why did you badmouth us on Twitch?
Yeah, it's so annoying. And the thing is, it's not even obvious. They don't really like point this out obviously. You wouldn't have known about this. They mention it once, and they're like, yeah, make sure you're 30 minutes ago. Also, the app will only be running if you're on a stable internet connection.
Oh God. My internet likes to cut out at random intervals.
The app will stay active, but you won't be able to use it till your internet comes back. So it did account for your internet cutting out. It's a thing it did account for, but still, that's great.
Is there a camera? Does it access your camera?
I didn't read that in there, but it might.
What about your microphone? I feel like that's illegal.
It does not record your microphone. It did not say anything about your microphone. It did say all your keystrokes, though, but only when the app is launched.
Okay.
So make sure not to launch the app if you're doing anything.
Okay.
The thing is, I would never have downloaded that because all the things in that. Guess what? Guess what it goes against? My AP class about phishing and malicious code and software.
But must.
That thing looks like a virus. That thing is pretty much so close to a virus.
Man, all it takes is for one person to hack that into that website, and like you have to give it access to everything. So like all it takes one hacker.
It goes against everything I've learned in that class, and I have to do it anyways. Pain and suffering. And it also has to be read by humans. It's not even a computer that's judging it, it's like humans that are judging it too, so they have to look at your data as well.
Somebody's gotta look at my anime wallpaper.
Yeah, you can't go back on questions, so that's probably fine. And I think another thing it does is it checks how long you've been on each question. So if you've been on like a question suspiciously long, it will like alert the system kind of thing.
What's suspiciously long?
I don't know what they didn't tell you the exact amount. They just think you're like looking it up on like another computer or something.
What's suspiciously long?
I don't know. Maybe it's like because you get 2 hours and there's how many questions are there?
I don't know. There's usually around 50 or 60 multiple choice questions.
Okay. Maybe if you take like 10 minutes on a question, that's like really long for it.
Yes. This is why I took as many tests in person as I could. Because this is a nightmare.
This would want to. I mean, yeah. And if they think they're cheating, they could like be like, "Yeah, you're cheating."
Mm.
So
This is like as scuffed as it was last year, but in the opposite direction.
it's just so restrictive and horrifying. It's tyranny. They're just like the moment like I'm done with the AP test, I'm like I actually have to wait a bit because I have to make sure I get my results and stuff. But the moment I not like but after that point I'm deleting the app.
Yeah.
Off my computer you go. And also another thing about the app is you have to make sure if you're in Mac, you have to open it for downloads. So I have it on my little browser on the side that shows like apps that I've opened like recently. But you can't put it on your main computer thing, or else it won't update anymore, and it updates constantly.
I don't know what that
And
means.
make sure you're opening it. Make sure you're opening it like every single day, at least once a day, to make sure if it doesn't have like a nighttime update that it needs to go through that you need to be online to do.
I'll check to make sure it's still functional, like before the test.
So check 2 hours before the test, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to log in 30 minutes before, anyways. I would log in like 35 minutes before. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
It's just so evil. I didn't get to do it in person though. I only have the computer science. I have two next year, but it's not that many either way. Because it's I don't have as many APs, I only have three.
Well, I took 5 APs junior year. I mean 6 actually. It was 6 APs but 5 AP tests.
The double. Why did you take 6? You only have 8 classes.
Well, Oatmeal took so many APs. I was like, look at how many APs I'm taking. And he was like,
My
I
mom
took
said
more.
that makes the colleges think you are stupider. Because it means you overwork yourself. And therefore cannot work properly.
Well, I'm not overworking myself if I did good on all of my in all of my classes.
That literally means that. If you don't have a control and you just want a good grade, it looks really bad for you.
Well, my parents say to take hard classes and get good test scores.
That's a good thing, but they don't like it when you take too many at once. So they like it when you take hard classes. They don't like it when you take too many at once because it looks bad on you because it looks like you just want the grade.
I do want the grade.
And colleges prefer if you want it for the class.
Well, how are they going to tell? Like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not actually like I do just want it for the okay.
Once they notice you have 6 completely different APs, they're gonna notice.
They're not completely different. They're STEM and English.
I see. This is just the amount of AP courses at all.
If
the counselor says the limit is like 5 or something before they start getting upset with you.
Well, Liz, if I wanted an easy 5, I would have taken AP Psych.
AP Psych, let's go. I actually really like psychology, so I might actually take it for the whole purpose that I like the course.
You'll be surrounded by other people who wanted an easy A. I think I'm like 90% sure that's why Halo is taking Psych.
Yeah, Halo wanted the boosted GPA. Yeah, you can edit, like, Technobyte said you can just edit at random periods.
Yeah, I just trim out what you just said.
Yeah. grade. And then the corona showed up, and it was like, let me only give you tests and not at all lessons. That was my second semester math to honors experience.
You
I was
know,
only given the tests.
distance learning being pass-fail actually probably saved my GPA because this was back when the schedule was all like wonky. So I straight up like did not attend one of the test days because I forgot, and I was like, "Can I retake it, please?" And he was like, "No."
I had a French muted in the background, and I would just watch Phil's experience.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't able to retake that test. It went in as a 0. So if it had been letter grading, I would have gotten a C plus. And since it was pass fail, I passed. So I got a pass. It's like, whew.
I actually got an A in every single course except for math, which I got a 90, not a 90, I got an 89.7.
Ooh.
Yeah. So instead of taking the grade, we had to do the pass fail.
Yeah. I think,
We look like such nerds, don't we?
yes.
We looked at a B and went, that's so lame.
We are nerds.
We really are. My therapist person was like, your school is wank and it tells you lies because getting a B is really good, but your school convinces you only an A plus is good enough.
It's not the school, it's my mom.
To be fair, I think the peer pressure from school every one day doing AP tests constantly also helps a little bit. Yeah, but my mom also tells me that diet, yeah, she seems very disappointed with me. Man, gotta love parental figures often.
My mom's just like, I was the top of my class all the time, always. And I got into the best college in the country because I got the top scoring grade on the test, which is how they.
You know what? It's
Yeah.
like we came from a poor family, and your father had to, as I worked all day with my many children, your father worked, and he was the most mature of every child ever.
In the
He
snow,
worked so
uphill
hard,
both
and he got
ways.
A's in every single class. And he took as many courses as he could because he wanted to get into a good college.
Ooh.
I always
Yeah.
rant about how they immigrated from Peru, and she'll be like, "This is my amazing child. I have raised him. Let me show you his report card."
The immigrant child life. Your parent, your mother and I
Your
worked so hard for you to be here.
your father, he worked day and night, and just because we were in America was the only reason we were able to succeed because this is the only country
The
you can
land of
live in.
opportunity.
Yes.
We moved away from China for a chance to climb the social ladder and give you a better life. You better do good in
Yeah.
school.
When my husband died, I thought it was over, but your father, he was so amazing. Him being 13, he was able to work. When the moment he was able to work, he worked. And he worked all day, and he did well in tests. And look at this report card again. Look at the report card. You gotta love it. I
Yeah.
went to have like a birthday lunch with with my aunt one night, and you know what? I don't actually call her my aunt. I call her Tia because that's I call her Tia and then her name, or I just call her name because I thought. Fun fact: I didn't realize her name was like her actual name, and I thought that meant aunt. So I thought her actual name was Tia, and then her actual name meant aunt.
Ah,
But no, I'm just a stupid child. But she went in the middle of conversation and she stopped me and she went, I used to be an architect. And I used to when we first moved to this country, your father did so well. And you should be so proud. And then my dad looks disgusted every single time I talk about her.
Yeah.
He looks me in the eyes and rolls his eyes and then looks so uncomfortable.
It has hit the midnight hour, so I should probably end stream now.
Yeah. It's almost at 2 hours too.
Yeah. Well, see all you. How many viewers am I at?
2.
That's you and me.
Okay.
See all of you, my beloved viewers, on Friday.